Hi, I'm Matthew Miller, and today I'm presenting Meeting You, Seeing Me, the role of social anxiety, visual feedback, and interface layout in a get-to-know-you task via video chat. This work was done in collaboration with my amazing co-authors, Dechant and Regan Mandryk at the University of Saskatchewan. Video chat is a great tool for staying connected with friends, family, and colleagues. However, some users of video chat experience social anxiety, fears relating to being scrutinized, expressing oneself, facing rejection, or displaying anxiety to others. For these people, a video call may be a stressful experience. If someone who experiences social anxiety during video calls searches for advice online, they're likely to see advice suggesting that the preview of their own video can focus attention inward and increase anxiety. Many articles suggest turning off this preview for a better experience. In contrast to this online advice, some prior research suggests that seeing oneself on video is not such a problem for people with social anxiety. For example, one study found that adding large mirrors to face-to-face conversations did not negatively affect socially anxious individuals. In fact, seeing oneself during conversation is somewhat similar to a technique used in social anxiety treatment known as feedback therapy. In this technique, socially anxious people watch back recordings of previous conversations, offering them a chance to identify exaggerated or untrue perceptions about how they came across. Because online advice and previous research paint two different pictures of how seeing oneself affects video chat experiences, we conducted a study comparing video chat interfaces that feature a preview of users' own video to interfaces that do not. Our study matches pairs of strangers for a get-to-know-you task. One confounding factor to the question of whether seeing oneself is harmful or helpful is the design of video chat interfaces. In some cases, a lot of the screen is dedicated to users' videos. In other cases, such as screen sharing or presentations, other content can dominate the interface. These different interfaces may affect how much attention people pay to the previews of their own video. Therefore, we tested the effects of seeing oneself in video chat in two contexts: a traditional call-focused interface and a content-focused interface. For detailed results from our study, please see our paper. For this talk, I'd like to highlight 5 aspects of the experience that we assessed. These are self-awareness, or how much a person focuses on themselves, experienced anxiety, or the situational intensity of anxiety, use of second-person pronouns such as you, self-disclosure, and trust formation. First, we'll look at a few results from the traditional call-focused interface. Our research shows that when we turn off the self view, higher levels of social anxiety are associated with more self-awareness and greater use of second-person pronouns. Additionally, social anxiety translated into experienced anxiety at double the rate when the self view is off. These findings suggest that turning feedback off is not helpful for people with social anxiety. In fact, it leads to a worse experience characterized by higher inward focus and anxiety, and more use of words like you, which may be an attempt to shift the conversation away during a stressful situation. Looking to the other 2 metrics I mentioned, we see some outcomes of social anxiety in the call. For participants lower in social anxiety, our task worked as intended. Advancing through more of the discussion questions we provided led to more self-disclosure and in turn to greater trust formation. But for people higher in social anxiety, we didn't see the same successful leveraging of the task. Advancing through more discussion questions did not generate more self-disclosure. And these findings were the same with or without feedback, which shows that even though feedback can be helpful for people with social anxiety, it doesn't solve everything. Briefly turning to the second interface we studied, in which the discussion questions took up most of the interface and the video call was only shown in a small bar at the top, we found somewhat different results. In this context, turning the self view on or off did not affect outcomes such as self-awareness, experienced anxiety, or use of second-person pronouns. We also found no relationship between advancing through discussion questions and self-disclosure, even for people lower in social anxiety. For a discussion of why our findings were different in this interface, please refer to our paper. In sum, our work shows that for people experiencing social anxiety in video calls, the common advice online to turn off the preview of your own video is not helpful and can actually lead to worse experiences. In broader terms, designers and users of video chat tools should be aware that video chat interfaces can affect our conversations. Thank you.